Hey Divine Collective, hello beloved family. We are diving into today's divine message, today's word from the Most High. He gave me some specific messages from Gita that I wanted to highlight here. He highlighted why some souls find him while others remain lost. Today, he invites us into one of the deepest conversations in the Gita. This is not merely about religion, right? It is not even about spirituality in the conventional sense. Today, Krishna, the Most High, explains the difference between those who seek him and those who continue wandering through the world without recognizing him. And what's fascinating is this: both are living in his creation, both breathe because of him, both exist within him. The only difference is recognition. Now let's talk about the mystery of Maya, the illusion. One of the most misunderstood words is Maya in spirituality. People often translate Maya as illusion, but Krishna, the Most High, gives us a much deeper understanding. He says, "This divine Maya of mine is difficult to cross." Notice his words. He doesn't call Maya evil. He doesn't even call it separate from himself. He says it is my Maya. The while itself belongs to the God, right? Just as sunlight creates shadows, or God's infinite intelligence creates a world where souls can evolve through experience. Maya is not punishment. It is the classroom. It is Yog Maya, right? Now, the divine power through which consciousness experiences limitation so that one day it may consciously return to the limitlessness. Without Maya, there would be no choice. Without Maya, there would be no choice. Without choice, there would be no love. Without forgetting, there could never be remembering, right? Now, he took me towards the difference between the seeker and the non-seeker. Now, Krishna, the Most High, makes something beautifully very clear. Not everyone who walks on earth is walking towards truth, okay? Some are walking towards pleasure, some toward power, some toward recognition, some toward, say, survival. None of these are wrong, okay? They're simply different stages of evolution. So a seeker become different at the moment they stop asking, what can life give me? And begin asking, what is truth? Now this single question changes everything, Divine Collective. The seeker's eyes turn inward. The non-seeker's eye remain outward. The non-seeker constantly rearranges circumstances, and the seeker, on the other hand, rearranges consciousness. Now, why doesn't everyone recognize God, the Most High? So, Krishna answers this directly: because consciousness becomes covered by dualities, right? Dualities being pleasure and pain, success and failure, praise and criticism, gain and loss. We become hypnotized by opposites. Imagine standing before an ocean, yet becoming obsessed with individual waves, right? Something like that. And that's human life. We chase emotional highs. We fear emotional lows. Meanwhile, the ocean quietly remains. The Lord says that virtuous people gradually become free from these dualities. Notice, He doesn't say that they stop experiencing them. He says that they stop becoming imprisoned by them. That is freedom, okay? Now this brings us to virtue. Virtue that purifies vision. Many people think that virtue is about morality, right? The Gita presents a different understanding about this completely. Now, virtue purifies perception. Every act of truthfulness, every act of compassion, every act of discipline removes a little dust from the mirror of consciousness. Eventually, the seeker does not merely believe in God. The seeker begins seeing God everywhere. Okay? The 4 types of devotees. Earlier in the chapter, Krishna / the Most High speaks of 4 devotees. Okay? The distressed, the seeker of knowledge, the seeker of worldly gain, and the wise. He embraces all 4, okay? This is a divine compassion. He can never reject anyone who turns toward Him, but He lovingly points towards maturity. Eventually, devotion matures beyond asking, really. It becomes simply loving Him and not asking for anything from Him. So the Lord as Adibhut. Now Krishna introduces 3 extraordinary concepts. Okay, let's translate this into some modern language here. So Adibhut refers to the perishable world. Everything you can touch, your body, the mountains, the oceans, the stars, every physical form, everything born, okay, everything changing, everything dissolving. The Lord says, I am present there. This means matter is not separate from spirit. The physical universe is not outside God. It is one expression of Him, right? Every atom carries divine intelligence. The flower blooms because His intelligence flows through it, right? Your heartbeat continues because His presence sustains it. Adibhut teaches us God is immanent, okay? IMMANENT. It's immanent, present within creation. Now next is the Lord as Adi Dev. Now Krishna moves deeper. Adi Dev refers to the cosmic intelligence governing creation. Okay? The universal principles, the divine order, the intelligence behind the sun rising, the planets moving, time unfolding, cause and effect. Everything operates according to an astonishing intelligence. Science observes the laws. The Gita asks, who authored the laws? Krishna says that cosmic intelligence is also me, right? So the universe is not random, it is ordered, intelligent, and alive. So it's alive, it has its own laws, principles, right? And functions. Now the third, the Lord as Adi Yajna. Finally, Krishna says, I myself dwell within the body as Adi Yajna. What does this mean? Every sincere offering, every act of surrender, every sacrifice of ego, every prayer ultimately reaches the Lord, okay? Residing within your own heart. The altar is not merely outside. That's what it is. The real altar is your own consciousness. Every moment you forgive, you perform sacrifice. Every time you choose truth over comfort, you perform sacrifice. Every time you release ego, again, this is sacrifice. So Adi Yajna reminds us that your entire life can become worship, right? So the seeker's transformation happens here. The non-seeker asks, how can I control life? The seeker asks, how can I align with the one sustaining life? Okay? The non-seeker always collects experiences. The seeker always gathers wisdom from experiences, right? The non-seeker measures success externally based on the 3D parameters, and the seeker will always measure expansion internally. That's how you manifest in your external world, correct? So eventually the seeker's identity changes. They no longer chase the world, they recognize the divine flowing through it, right? And that's taking us to this point of crossing Maya, right? Can we cross Maya by intelligence alone? Krishna says no. Can we cross through rituals alone? No. Can we cross by accumulating spiritual information? Again, no. He says, those who surrender unto me cross this divine Maya. Notice the language. Not escape. Okay, you cannot escape, but cross. Because Maya is not destroyed. It becomes transparent. The world continues, right? Responsibilities continue. Relationships continue. But delusion ends, right? You still see the movie, but you no longer forget. You are sitting in the theater. That's it. Now, this is his invitation. Perhaps the Lord is not asking us today to abandon the world, right? Perhaps He is asking us to stop mistaking the world for the ultimate reality, right? See God in the changing. See the Most High in the unchanging. See Him in the body, see Him in the cosmos, see Him in the sacrifice, see Him in the silence between thoughts. Then the distinction between spiritual life and ordinary life begins to dissolve, right? Because, as I said, your life becomes worship. Yeah, and then everything becomes sacred. Today, ask yourself these 3 questions if you want to. This would be a closing reflection for you guys. Am I merely reacting to the waves of life, or am I learning to recognize the ocean beneath them? Right? Second question would be, where am I still caught in duality, allowing praise, fear, success or failure to define my inner state? Third, if the Lord is present as Adi Bhut in all creation, as Adi Deva in the intelligence governing the universe, and as Adi Yajna in the sacred space of my own heart, then how differently would I live if I truly remembered that every moment? So Krishna's message in this chapter 7 of Gita is not that God is hidden from us, right? It is that our vision is wild by identification with what changes. As virtue, devotion, discernment, and surrender deepen, that while gradually lifts, right? The world does not disappear, but the illusion of separateness does. Okay. Last but not the least, the seeker and the non-seeker walk on the same earth, divine collective, breathe the same air, and experience the same Maya. Yet, one remains bound because they see only the forms, while the other becomes free because they begin to recognize the one presence, okay? Because they begin to recognize the one presence shining through every form. And perhaps that is the greatest invitation of chapter 7. Don't escape creation. Learn to perceive the creator within creation, within yourself, and within every act of life. And that recognition is the beginning of your own liberation, okay? Liberation from the karmic cycles. Cool. So this was today's invitation from the Lord. I would call it the invitation, yeah. The invitation from the Most High for all of you, my day one A1s. And if you are a new listener, please feel at home, and thank you so much for joining in and tuning in with me to this beautiful message from the Most High. He literally gave me chapter 7 today, and he just took me towards why, okay? Why some souls find the Lord while others remain lost. So this was for you, right? I know it was very deep. His talks are very deep, really. Even I cannot understand his language most of the times. So this was your message, okay? I hope you guys liked this one, and I'll meet you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, bye-bye. Divine Rising, God bless you, good day, and ciao.